Hey guys, it's Marijka, Milton Public Library, back with you today, and I'm bringing with me week 3 of nonfiction books. So here we go. The first book that I have for you is it's uh the it's Trevor Noah's Born a Crime: Stories from a South African Childhood by Trevor Noah. This is the young person's edition. He does have another book that is for adults, and it is very much for adults. So this one is the young edition, and it's really good. So Trevor Noah grew up in South Africa during apartheid. Now, apartheid was it's a system of legislation that upheld segregationist policies against non-white citizens of South Africa. So, yeah, so he grew up during that time, and I would just like to bring up that Trevor Noah is younger than me. I think he's um, in his 30s maybe. So this is something that is very recent. It's not in the past. It is, pretty much what could be considered present time. So he grew up in South Africa during apartheid, and his mom was black and his dad was white, which was illegal. It was illegal for people of different races to get together and have children or be in a relationship of any kind. So he literally was born a crime. So whenever he was with his mom and his black side and his black family, he was considered white because he was so light skinned. But then whenever he was with his dad and his white side of the family, he was considered black because he obviously is black. So it was very, very confusing for him, and he got bullied a lot because of his skin color. So this book dives into that, but then it also dives into life in South Africa, where poverty and racism literally controlled everything. And how black people were jailed and you know brutalized for standing up and trying to gain rights. And his mom was just absolutely amazing. And she was super rebellious to the point where she took a typing job, which doesn't sound like, oh, how is getting a job as a receptionist rebellious? Black women were not necessarily allowed to do non-menial work. So, like anything besides like cleaning houses or cooking or taking care of children, things like that, it just was considered, against the law or wrong for black women to excel in any sort of way. But she went and she learned how to type and she got a typing job. And yeah, so this book is just really great. It talks about his life growing up and how hard it was, but then also like how he persevered in this time, and he has lots of really funny things in there. So yeah, it's Trevor Noah, Born a Crime: Stories from a South African Childhood by Trevor Noah. The next book that I have for you today is called Never Caught. This is the story of Ona Judge, George and Martha Washington's courageous slave who dared to run away. This is also the Young Readers edition, and it is by Erica Armstrong Dunbar. So Ona Judge was Martha Washington's personal attendant from a very, very young age. And it is said that Martha Washington really, really loved, is that, I don't know, no, what would the word be? Valued? I don't know. I just don't feel like those are words you can necessarily just say about a feeling towards someone you're enslaving, because you wouldn't enslave them if you thought those things. But it is said that she valued Ona's intelligence, that She was very, very intelligent and had a calm demeanor, and she was very good at like sewing and just helping Martha Washington and taking care of her. So Ona lives with the Washingtons, and then it is said that she is going to be given to Martha Washington's relative as a gift, and Ona decides she doesn't want to do this anymore, so she runs away. Now, this is pre-Underground Railroad, so this is when it was even harder. There's not a network of people to help you. So she runs away despite not knowing how to read or knowing anything outside of the world of this plantation and enslavement. So she also, when George Washington became president, he tried to find her and recapture her so that she could be their slave at the White House. This is just a great book about a story that I didn't know. I think that we tend to, for lack of better words, like whitewash slavery and don't like to talk about the fact that our presidents and people that we put in power actually owned people and felt that owning people was their right, which is just crazy to think about. So this is a story about a person who tried to fight against that even though she didn't know any sort of life outside of it. So it's Never Caught, the story of Ona Judge, George and Martha Washington's courageous slave who dared to run away, the Young Readers edition by Erica Armstrong Dunbar. The third book that I'm bringing you today, Eric, is called The Boys in the Boat, and this is also the Young Readers edition. And it is by Gregory Moan. So The Boys in the Boat, the true story of an American team's epic journey to win gold at the 1936 Olympics is the full title. And it is an absolutely amazing story about perseverance and determination. So the story is about the 9 young men from Washington University who did not come from money and really didn't have a lot, and they were determined to overcome all of that, including the Great Depression, and become the best rowers in the world. So this story is really amazing. It's almost like a suspense novel. It doesn't feel necessarily like a nonfiction. Not that there's anything wrong with nonfiction or they feel a certain way, but this actually feels like a suspense novel. And it's just super amazing. And 1936 was like called Hitler's Berlin Olympics. So it was even that much more important that that they won. It just made it seem that much more like important that they could give their all in the face of adversity. I don't know. It's just a really amazing story. And it is called The Boys in the Boat, and it is by Gregory Moan. The last book that I have for you today is called Be Fearless, Dream Like a Kid, and this is by Michaela Elmer. So this book is so amazing. So when Mikaila was 4 years old, she was stung by bees. And instead of being like, oh my goodness, I hate bees, like scared of them or whatever, she starts to learn about bees and learn about how they're endangered and really, really wants to like help bees. So, I mean, just imagine what kind of amazing 4-year-old that takes, that you get stung by bees, and instead of like hating them, you're like, oh, I see you, I'm going to save you. Like, just amazing. So anyways, she discovers how important they are and that they're in danger. So she decides that she's going to start this lemonade stand, but is going to incorporate honey in it and then bring awareness to like the plight of the bees. So she even starts selling them. She like goes on Shark Tank and she starts selling her lemonade at Whole Foods, and she really is just amazing. So in this book, she is telling her story, but then also gives like business sort of tips and information, which is also really amazing because she's, a child. She's y'all's age. So, it's just a really great book that has an amazing story about an amazing girl, and then also like tips on how young people can also go after their dreams. You don't have to wait until you're an adult, and you can start doing stuff now. And this book is, sort of like a stepping stone and teaching you how to get there. So it is Be Fearless, Dream Like a Kid by Michaela Elmer. So there you go. That is the end of nonfiction for this month, which means it's very close to the end of the month, which is just amazing because every little breath we take, we are closer to summer, which is just my favorite time of the whole year. It is very sunny outside and the birds are singing and the squirrels are playing, even though it is not very warm, but we have some programs coming up in the spring. Not many programs. Give us a call and check in. Again, our Spark always has something going on in it. We change it up weekly, and then sometimes we throw some things in there daily. We are planning our summer things. We have a couple of fun summer things happening. And yeah, I will see you guys next week for new books. Bye.